Hey everybody, welcome to Bura. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about this article that explains how Facebook should be fixed and how it relates to Udemy. Alright, welcome back. For this video, make sure that you like and subscribe. More subscribers you get, the more content we can make. Number one reason why you subscribe to this amazing YouTube channel is to get the money-making trends before they go mainstream. Alright, so let's take a look at Udemy, of course. So the stock, again, has actually gone up quite a bit. A whole 9% since the bottom here. And you can see that, well, from the top, we're only down to 3%. And, that's kind of roughly where, where the IPO was. So if you bought at 29, well, you're not really doing anything. And remember, I don't think Udemy is a short by any means. But however, I do think there's a lot of things that they could fix and improve with their system here. Now, as I've been going over the years, one of the things that I've noticed is there has been more and more regulation over, for example, the just the general internet space. There's things that I could do years ago that I probably couldn't do today. And one of the major things with this, of course, is list sharing. But nevertheless, there is this article here on how to fix Facebook. And whether or not you agree with this article, it's not really the point of this video here. But there's a couple of things that I've been noticing over the years. And again, for the last 10 years, there's basically been more regulation here because 5-8 years ago, the internet is the Wild West. In fact, the CEO of Udemy said that online learning is the Wild West. I believe that was Dennis Yang. But nevertheless, there's a couple things that I want to make sure that you understand and how it relates to Udemy. So there's two articles in here. And by the way, I am going to be doing a whole video about this to be released on Saturday. Just because, remember, Bura is supposed to be about technology. But since Udemy's IPO'd, it's one of my favorite topics. So I'm going to be doing a video about that every day. So just make sure you keep everything out here. But nevertheless, okay, so a new federal agency that is like the Food and Drug Administration, okay? And the other one is increased transparency. Now, I think this one's probably the biggest one. But let's take a look at this here. So what has been proposed is, the Food and Drug Administration, I believe, was set up because a bunch of people were just literally putting poison into like supplements and food. And so they basically said, no, we can't have that. And so I'm not saying that the Food and Drug Administration it's not the point to do an audit of whether or not it's good or not. But the point is that the Food and Drug Administration is a body that businesses have to go through for better or for worse. And the thing is that could happen with social media. Now, Udemy's not a social media site. It isn't. But one of the things that is surrounding the Facebook debate here is the use of algorithms. And algorithms might have to be transparent in the future. And that will pose a huge problem to Udemy because their algorithms not being as transparent as possible, and it will definitely create some problems because the way that their algorithm is set up, it's set up so that newcomers are most likely to fail, and it pumps up the current instructor base because what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a bunch of content or curate a bunch of content and then sell that to their massive list and subscription. I don't think that's a good idea. The stock price might go up temporarily, but it leaves a ton of room for disruption. And I've talked about that a lot on this channel. There could be a Web 3.0 version of Udemy that can completely undercut everything, and that's not very good. Okay, so the other thing is increased transparency. And this could be a problem. Any given site that's of a certain size might say, they might have to release how they do things, right? How many ads they put on, just more transparency. And Udemy does not like transparency. Now, of course, now that they're a public company, there's a lot more transparency. I've been waiting to see what they've been doing behind the scenes. But in the past, it's been, it sounds like there was a bunch of head honchos and all they did was do things their way. It was either their way or another way. So that's something that's interesting that you should probably think about here. So when it comes to transparency in Udemy and the algorithm, those will change up the platform, I would say arguably for the better. I still think that Udemy should absolutely focus on their marketplace and making that scalable. The pie will grow so much bigger if they do this, and currently they don't do that. And I'm actually thinking about a good way to test this. And stay tuned for that, because if I test it in such a way that it's not very good, then it really does not mean a future growth for the company. Now, remember, what they're trying to do is, they're trying to curate everything into a subscription. And this is a topic for a different video, which I'm putting together. But Udemy is supposed to democratize education, and it's not really democratizing when you just basically pump up a certain amount of instructors. And if the marketplace was more of a free marketplace with less rules, then I would argue that the whole system would be better, because the whole point of Udemy is to capture learning interactions, but they don't really do that. Okay, that's the problem. They don't really capture the learning interactions. All they do is they want to curate things, and I think it's a little bit lazy on their part. But it's a public company, and we'll see what they do in their balance sheets and their accounting statements. So it's not bad. They actually did make more money than Coursera, and I think Udemy is a better platform than Coursera, quite a bit, by the way. But the reason why it's so good is because it has a marketplace. I can't iterate that, in fact, enough here, right? So that's basically what I wanted to talk about here. There are a couple of things that you should probably look at here when it comes to this here. Now, of course, I just picked the first thing on Google, so I think this is not necessarily a bad website. Just there are some good ideas in here on what to do to fix Facebook. And the thing about network effects, and this does affect Udemy as well, is that once you have a certain amount of traction, then it's hard to make a competitor. It's very hard to make a Facebook competitor. Udemy is at that stage where someone could take them out sooner rather than later, because the competition is quite fierce. E-learning isn't the same as social media, and more on that in a different video. All right, so that concludes this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.